Hey, what's up guys? Alex here with a new video, and today we're taking a look at the new Viltrox 56mm f1.7 lens for Sony E Mount. Now this lens is new for the Sony E Mount, but it's been out for the Fuji X Mount and Nikon Z Mount for a few months, I believe. And Viltrox did provide me this lens for review. This lens is a 56mm APS-C lens, but I did test it with my full-frame Sony A7CR, which essentially, when you're using it in crop mode, is a 26 megapixel camera. This lens also retails for $180. I'm going to age myself here, but back in my day, a $180 lens meant you were getting terrible image quality, terrible build quality, usually a loud and clunky lens, not weather sealed, and essentially the worst of the worst. This lens is none of that. And I'm surprised because I can't believe lenses are getting this good and this cheap. It's wild. So for today's video, it's a first impressions video, and we're going to talk about build quality, we're going to talk about image quality, and then we're going to talk about who I recommend this for. So build quality. This lens, like I mentioned, is $180, and this is where you get the trade-offs. This lens is made entirely out of plastic. There's no buttons, there's no switches, there's no weather sealing, but you do get a metal mount and you do get a USB-C port for firmware upgrades. Even though it has no buttons or aperture ring, I kind of like that because usually when cheap lenses put aperture rings on the lenses, they're kind of not the smoothest because it's a budget lens. So I'd rather not have it. I'd rather have a design like this and keep the cost down. The focusing ring is smooth and the lens is lightweight. And again, to be honest, I really have no complaints. Other than the fact that it's plastic, and that's not necessarily a complaint, the lens does not feel like it's a cheap lens. It's extremely lightweight, and it pairs so well with a small camera, and I think that's where the magic of APS-C happens. But we'll get to that in a second. Because build quality and the price point doesn't really matter if the image quality is not there. But like Viltrox has done with all their lenses, I haven't tested a lens by Viltrox that's been bad, and I'm kind of surprised by that. The image quality of this lens is just, I was not expecting it to be this good at 180 bucks. I did some portraits, I took it out just walking around, and all the images I got were sharp, they were contrasty. There's really not much chromatic aberration, and the lens also handled flare very well. Again, I'm super surprised because you don't expect this kind of image quality out of a cheap lens. And I'm putting up some portraits here so you can see the image quality. And I'm also going to provide some images for you to download and check out yourself so you can pixel peep them in your computer so you can see what I'm talking about. Because at the end of the day, I think if you're an APS-C shooter, regardless of the system, Sony, Fuji, or Nikon, and you're looking for a portrait length lens or even a longer telephoto lens, because this 56mm is the equivalent of an 85mm in full frame terms, you can't go wrong with it. And I think the best part about it is this lens kind of keeps the APS-C spirit of compact and lightweight. I use this lens with my Sony A7CR, like I mentioned, which is essentially the size of a Sony APS-C camera. And together this combo was just so lightweight and just effortless to use, and I didn't mind carrying it with me anywhere. Now, you're going to have to like 85mm as far as focal length. For me, that's a little bit on the longer side. I usually kind of cap myself at 50mm. That's my sweet spot. But if you're a portrait shooter, you want this focal length, you really can't go wrong for $180. Let me go ahead and put my camera over here. So, like I mentioned, download the files, check out the image quality. Let me know your thoughts down below. Viltrox has become one of my favorite companies, and I'm just loving what they're doing. And I've mentioned this before, but we're, I think, on the verge, I'm not sure if it's at the end of this year or early next year, where Viltrox will start releasing some of their pro line of lenses. So all the lenses I've reviewed up to this point have not been part of their pro line, and I've been impressed. So I can't imagine what they're going to put out and what price point it's going to be at. So stay tuned for that, because hopefully I can get my hands on those lenses when they do get announced and come out, and I can do my first impressions and reviews on this channel. As always, guys, please smash the like button, please smash the subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good one, guys. Peace.